Welcome to the Business Spotlight. Today, I'm really excited. I've got Zoe Bowles, and she's a compliance expert and believes that compliance should be a piece of cake. I'm really excited to have you, Zoe. Thank you so much for coming on. And I'm really looking forward to hear some of the insights on areas that I think is really valid for many business owners. So it's great to have you.
It's great to join you. Thank you very much for having us.
I'm going to dive right in. First question. Tell me a little bit about what it exactly is that you do. It's not cake baking, a bit more to it than that. But yeah, what do you do? How long have you been doing this? And what's that journey been like for you?
Oh, absolutely. So Lauren and myself, we started the business back in September 2021, which is, what everybody does in the middle of a global pandemic is you start a business, don't you? And we decided that when we set up, we wanted to be different to other management consultancy firms that are out there. We wanted to make sure that compliance was working for the business, not just ticking boxes, not just helping people to jump up the PQQ list or, ease of their tender supplements. We want to make sure that that compliance element is really working for the business and making sure that companies are able to implement something into their company that both benefits them, but also helps them to grow or to resolve issues that they currently have. Nothing in business is perfect. People do have those hiccups along the way, but your compliance and your management system should really be helping you to tease out those problems and make it better for everybody. I think we've all worked in those places where you have the same problems day in, day out, and actually look at the root cause of that. Why is it happening? And what can we change to stop it from happening again? Save everybody's time and make them more productive.
Oh, brilliant. So exactly what it is that you do. So how do you help business owners out there?
Absolutely. So we are an ISO management system compliance expert, if you like. We help companies to, first of all, identify what management systems they need in their business. I think we have a lot of people come up to us and say, oh, we want to get our ISO 9001. And that's great. But my question is always, why? Why do you want to do it? What's the driver? And to be honest with you, if the answer there is we just want the certificate, actually, you're probably not in the best place at the moment to get on that journey. We want to establish that the management system is going to benefit the business, and it's right for you to be making that investment, both time, money, and resources to make this work for you. But once we've established that this journey is right, it's the right time, you've got the right support, we will help a business either who want to, build on what they've got to build their management system or start from scratch. Nothing we do is off the shelf. So we work a management system from the ground up to help a company to make something that's going to work in the best way they can. We'll act as somebody's internal auditors so that you don't need to take your staff away from their day jobs to do that. And then we'll help you out at your external audits as well. Make sure that we can be that almost translation service between you and your audit team to make sure that they get what they need from you. You can still carry on the day job as much as you can. Nothing stops just because there's an audit going on in the background. And that at the end of the day, you can walk away with your certification in hand.
Oh, brilliant. And Zoe, what would you say is the biggest benefits that businesses will get from going through the process with you?
I think it really helps a company to evaluate, why are you doing this way? We always start with a bit of a market analysis. Why is your company here? Who are you serving? What are your products and your services? And why do you provide those to the wider world? And I think once you started to pick those bits apart, you start to identify all of those risks to the business. Oh, what happens if the supply chain has fluctuations in its rates or materials are no longer available? But also the opportunities, new markets opening up, new people coming into business that need your products and services. And then it really allows us to shape that management system around the core part of the business, which is, why are you here and who are you serving? And once you've got those, ducks in line, if you like, you can start to really put those processes in place. And it's not about changing what you do, because predominantly what we find is that people are already doing things that meet the requirements of the standard. What it is about is documenting what you're doing to make sure that then you do have a formalized way of working in the business. All your sales team are working the same way. All your manufacturing team are working the same way, so that you get consistency. Because one of the biggest aims of the standards is that if someone comes to you now and does business with you, and again in 3 months, and again in 3 years, the standard should mean that they receive the same level of service from you, because you have an underpinning management system in place with underpinning processes to make sure that the service they receive is consistent.
Uh, great insight and answers there. Thanks so much for that, Zoe. I want to get to kind of your experience of business, right? So since you've started out, what would you say have been the most challenging part of building a business?
I think it is crashing down those, black clouds in the industry. Everyone hears the word compliance, and I think it sounds scary. It's about meeting requirements. It's about being legislatively correct. It's about making sure that you can evidence your activities. And I think people find this really, really scary. Hence, I talk about cake all the time. I talk about the fact that a process should be as easy as baking a cake. You should gather your ingredients, mix your ingredients, bake your ingredients, and then eat cake. It should be that simple. But I think one of the biggest problems that we face is that people think that to implement the standard, we're going to come in and change the way you work. We're going to change your business. And that's not the case at all. Because the aim of the standards isn't to make everybody work the same way. It's to make everybody achieve the same outcomes. And that's a completely different scenario. How you meet those outcomes is entirely down to you as a business. However you run it, so long as you achieve those outcomes, you meet the requirements of the standard.
Brilliant again there. So for you, what's been some of the biggest lessons you've learned so far in building your own business?
Oh, that's a real hard one for us. Again, I think we're a very female orientated business. We are all women at the moment, not on purpose, just by coincidence, if you like. And I think we do work in a very male dominated environment. We work in construction, we work in manufacturing, fabrication. And I think a lot of the people that we speak to still see compliance professionals as suited, booted, the briefcase, the red tie. And that's not us at all. We like to try and, seamlessly integrate into a business. I've got clients that don't make me a cup of tea anymore. And that's nothing personal, but they know that I will get up and help myself and, be one of the team. So I think one of the challenges that we see sometimes is that we're not common in the areas that we work in. People don't see us as people that they interact with all the time. To see a woman on a building site is still not commonplace. And as auditors, it's quite unusual as well. There's more of us around now, but maybe 4 or 5 years ago, to have a female auditor was quite unusual. So I think one of the biggest problems for us has been standing out, but also standing on our own 2 feet. We know what we're doing, we do it well, and just getting that confidence and that buy-in from our potential clients. But so far, we are growing, which is nice and it's comforting. But it's nice to start getting recommendations as well from others.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic, and a great learning there to share with especially other women in business. Absolutely love that. So, what advice, Zoe, would you give to someone starting out in business?
So I think it's recognizing where your strengths are, recognizing what bits you don't know, and having the confidence to say, I need some help. We are all really, really good at what we do. And that's why you start your business. But that doesn't make you an expert in finance. It doesn't make you an expert in HR or marketing or all the other hats that you have to wear as a business owner. And I think people fall into the trap of trying to do everything themselves, potentially wasting a lot of time or not seeing the benefits. And I think there's a lot to be said for putting your hand up and saying, who do I know who does this better than I do? Who can help me? Networking is a scary thing, but once you can get out there and start talking to people, I think there's real value there in collaboration. There's a lot of people that do what we do, and you could say that they are our competitors. But I think it's removing that terminology and not seeing people that do the same as you as competitors, because there's a lot to be said for working together, sharing of information, sharing of expertise. I'm not the right consultant for every company or client, and vice versa. They wouldn't necessarily be the right company or client for us to work with. But knowing other people that do what you do is always a strength and not a weakness.
Oh, I absolutely love that. That's such a great, great answer again there. Thanks so much for sharing that, Zoe. Um, what do you wish more people knew about your industry?
Ooh, I think from our perspective, we see a lot of people who think, oh, they've got the ISO standards, they must be a huge business. That's not necessarily true. The standards aren't just there for the big players or people that employ 100 staff, or those who turn over a certain value. We've worked with companies who have single persons in a business, right the way up to people who do turn over millions and millions of pounds. But I think it's really important for people to realise that the standards aren't there just for the bigger companies, the high employers. They really do relate to every business. Whether you employ one person, no people, and it's just yourself, that doesn't exclude you from going on this journey. And it can open so many doors as well. We see a lot of our clients will say to us, oh, we've got 9001 is now mandatory on our PQQs. We're not going to meet those tenders or work with those clients if we don't implement it now. And to do that is sometimes the thing that opens up those doors to allows you to grow, allows you to be, bigger place in your market or your field. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding there that, oh, I'm not going to meet the criteria just because you are a smaller business. Have the conversation, speak to somebody in the know, speak to someone who's done it before. And I think you will slowly start to identify that actually I could do this and it could be really good for our business.
Oh, yeah, that's such a fresh perspective there, and I think you're right. We often underestimate kind of what's possible, even if we are a smaller business. So yeah, just love that. Um, so you're in partnership, started a business up with a partner. So what's the secret to a healthy business partnership, would you say? What's the secret there?
We play to our strengths. So I'm very much a people person. Hence why I'm here having a conversation and lovely chat with yourself. Whereas Lauren's focus is very much on how our business runs, our processes, our paperwork, our systems. And I think together we cover all areas of the business by playing to our strengths. And it's quite funny because we will share a generic email address that comes in, we both see it, and we very quickly go, oh, that's for me, that's my bag, that's my strength, I'll deal with that. And then there's other times when I'll look at it and go, no, that's a Lauren job, that one. And it's really nice because we don't overstep, we don't step on each other's toes. We talk about absolutely everything. We will talk about the activities and what we've got going on. But we play to our strengths. If it's finance related, I will pick that up. If it's operational or systems based, Lauren will pick that up. Have a look at what fits our business model the best. And I think it's knowing what you're good at. It's knowing, if I asked Lauren to go out to a networking meeting, I think she'd probably run for the hills. It's not her comfort. It's not what she enjoys. Whereas for me, I love going out, having a conversation. Put me in a room with 1,000 people I don't know, and I'll find someone to talk to. And it's really exciting, I think, to be able to go, we have someone in our business who enjoys this, but we also have someone in our business who enjoys the other side, what other people will see as the mundane, the tasks, the paperwork. It's not everybody's, forte. But I think that we really balance each other well, which is brilliant.
That is such a great insight there, and I think many business owners watching this were like, "Oh, I wish I had a Lauren that can help
Absolutely.
me with that." So yeah, definitely, really something to take note of. You know, if you get the right partner on board, it's double the power, isn't it? So yeah, that's
Absolutely.
fantastic. Let me ask the question, Zoe. What's the key to success for you?
Knowing where you want to go.
Hmm.
So we have, over the years, we've tried different things. We've employed consultants. We've not employed consultants. We've flipped the business upside down, and we've employed recently a business coordinator to keep all those plates spinning while Lauren and I are out on site with clients. It's making sure that you can adapt to change, and things don't stand still in the business. And suddenly we find that lots of people want to do the ISO 45001, and that requires us to sit back and go, oh, well, I normally do 9001, but I'm going to have to find some additional health and safety resource. And I think knowing that adaptation and change is inevitable, and I think it's really difficult if if you're not comfortable with change, it's something that you find really, really hard. Whereas if you can embrace the change, be able to react and do things differently, try new things. If it doesn't work, it's evaluating that risk to benefit, isn't it? What have I got to lose? But simultaneously, what have I got to gain? How many doors could this open for me? And I think that's really the key to success. It's being able to be brave, but with a calculated risk.
Oh, you've got some really great takeaways there, and I hope some golden nuggets right there. And I hope people are really listening to that. I just love it. Thanks, Zoe. A good book that you've read, maybe a podcast or something that you can recommend to others that has been really impactful for you.
Oh, that's probably a tricky one. I watch so many great people on LinkedIn. I watch all of the videos on LinkedIn. I can lose hours in LinkedIn, actually. I think people are starting to put content out that people can resonate with in the form of video. I really like watching Beth Jackson and her tips for finance, and what can you do with business expenses, and what can't you do. I'm still trying to get her to tell me how I could wangle getting a Premier in bed as a business expense. But we haven't worked that one out yet. But I think there's a lot of power out there. There's a lot of people who really know their stuff. As I say, I love watching Beth Jackson. There's so many out there, so many.
And it's very interesting because people think, oh, YouTube or TikTok, but you're right, LinkedIn has some great content on there. So yeah, thank you for sharing and reminding us, that it's another great platform to learn from other and their specialities. So yeah, that's fantastic. If you could magically improve one area in the business right now, what would it be?
Travel.
I haven't had that one before.
I am at the mercy of the glorious M25. Pretty much most of my clients, if I have to take that journey on the M25, it drives me mad. Working in the construction, manufacturing, fabrication world, I keep sitting back and thinking there must be somebody in my client base that can just make a time machine, or something that can transport me from A to B without sitting in the car for hours and hours and hours. I can't stand travel. I think it can be such a drain on time. So I think if I could just magic something that allows me to push a button and get from A to B at the click of my fingers, some Dorothy red slippers or something similar would be brilliant. Because I think there's nothing worse than sitting in a car stuck on the M25 thinking, I could be doing this or I could be doing that. That said, I can sometimes be known to put a good radio station on and have a bit of karaoke and a bit of chill out time. Equally important. But I think if there was one thing I could change, it'd be the ability to travel without the time.
Oh, yes. Well, let's hope that in our future there's some kind of teleportation
It'd be
that
amazing. Someone
yeah,
has to be out there that can do this for us, right?
I know, right? Probably Elon Musk with the way that he's going at the moment. So, yeah, this has been fantastic. You've shared really great advice and just sharing your experience has been fun. It's really, really wonderful. And I'm so grateful again. Zoe, thank you so much for coming on
Oh, it's been
the
lovely.
show.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks so much.